See Thomas Jefferson on the eve of Bunker Hill, writing words to die for.
He was instrumental in starting a Washington leadership program for young farmers in 1983, a program that still attracts young people to the federal legislative process today. The Georgia Agribusiness Council, a member of the Georgia Agribusiness Council and a member-like organization for farmers and agricultural business owners, tapped Gary to serve as president in 1989. For over 20 years, he's expanded services to members to include workman's compensation insurance, homeland security compliance training, and advocacy on issues including private property rights, lower taxes, and environmental stewardship. Gary helped lead efforts to develop and manage the showcase Southern agriculture during 1996. Gary is married to Lydia, has two children, Ward and Caroline, and it is
Through needles, I so narrow.
Lydia is here. Thank you. Lydia, we're going to talk about food safety in just a moment, but Lydia is my #1 food safety consultant. She's a teacher of family and consumer sciences in Jackson County High School, and so that kind of advice I get directly from home, and I want to put it to work for the people here. Some good things for the 21st century of agriculture, and for this important agency. It really does touch every one of us. You know, as we look at this morning, what I'd like to do is share a little bit of my vision with you. We heard a little bit of maybe weld together that vision with my experience, because I think that's important when you're choosing the leadership help to do that. Because we could talk a lot about agriculture. My career has been in agriculture, and I hope to share a little bit of that with you. But again, in working with our consumers, working with those industries, working to protect jobs. Yes, it is a jobs-related organization because many businesses are licensed. We need to get government out of the way, make sure we have the proper things going on. We're doing the job that we're supposed to do. But then we get out of the way and let businesses employ people and get Georgia back on track. And I really do believe that there's a great role for agriculture to play in this office and do it the right way. My campaign this time is about safe foods, about strong farms, and it's about responsible government. Real quickly, let me outline what my initiatives in those areas are. We must improve the food safety system of the state. I am not satisfied with the state of Georgia being in the news when it comes to food safety, and all that news is bad. We must improve employee training. We must improve accountability. We must make sure that those folks on the front line have the tools to do their job, that they are held accountable, and that they have a management style that comes alongside them to make sure that they can be successful in working to fulfill their jobs on behalf of citizens of Georgia. We look at over the issues of the past couple of years. I can tell you folks, we lost 30% of the peanut market last year because we had some real questions in the marketplace with regards to food safety. That was our responsibility. We've got to do a better job.
Amen.
Because when we see that farmers last year had 30% of that market, they completely lost, had no contract for peanuts to be produced last year. And so you see the intricate relationship between the health of agriculture and our food safety, not to mention the public health issues as well. This agency also, when it comes to, and it is a frontline responsibility of the department. If anybody wants to change how food safety interacts and what the roles of this department are, that's a legislative issue. But I can tell you, as long as the law books of the state of Georgia tell me to do a job, I'm going to do it with conservative values. I'm going to do it with principle and do it in a professional manner. But one of the things that I really believe is important in food safety, we focused a lot on, we have folks that really focus on pulling out-of-date Twinkies off of grocery store shelves. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not a food safety issue. It is a food quality issue, but it's not a public health issue. What I want to do is make sure that we put the resources we have in this department that are solely focused on food safety, because that's where it affects the public, that's where it affects the consumers that are at immediate changes in the food safety area that you'll see if I have a chance to lead this agency. Strong farms. How do those relate? Well, if people lose confidence in their food supply, then we lose the health on the farms of the state of Georgia. And those things are not competing priorities. But you need an advocate in this role that has an agricultural background, that can be an advocate for the farm families of this state. Let me give you a couple of examples of where I've been. In just yesterday, I was with Lord Christopher.
Well, Mr. Black, I appreciate your position that if we want to change the laws and the way things are regulated, we should be involved. And I'm with Lobbyists for Life and Liberty. We're actually working with 3 different food safety and food freedom bills right now that are on the Georgia legislative docket. So to that regard, you said that you believe that that the role of government was for government regulators to get out of the way so that consumers and businesses could interact. Does department regulation not just place a false safety assumption on by consumers on the government, which leads to a loss of public confidence over an entire industry when there's a problem like the peanut problem? I mean, food safety is important, and whether someone microwaves their Hot Pocket completely or before they eat it, or our milk or our meat or our vegetables are completely cooked before we purchase them at the grocery store.
I'm going to ask you to ask a question.
Sure, here's my question. Where would you defer to consumer choice and self-governance over protecting agriculture business?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get to your question. You want to know whether I want to support the retail sale of raw milk.
Well, retail sale of raw milk, sure. Chickens in my backyard, whatever.
Yeah, well, I'm not for taking. I'm not for taking us backwards. I think when we look at some significant food safety issues and making that straight available to the public, and I've already had some discussion about the other farm families of this state. When we actually have part of that system is compromised, but then everyone else pays the price for it. I'm gonna stand in the gap to make sure we limit that exposure as much as possible. You have kind of a long question there. So.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Are there any? I want to give one other chance for one other question.
He's got 900 shekels. He needs at least 100 more.